So we're diving deep into the future of banking.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how to keep those customers coming back for more.
Yeah.
We're talking loyalty in the age of digital everything.
Right.
And you've given us a ton of material to unpack here.
Yeah.
From industry trends to a really intriguing case study.
What's fascinating is that we're moving beyond the old playbook of interest rates and free toasters.
Seriously, who even uses toasters anymore?
Right. This is about understanding what makes modern consumers tick.
Okay.
Especially Gen Z. And a lot of it comes down to experience.
And that's where this whole idea of gamification comes into play.
Yeah.
Which the Veracast report really highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, when I first heard that term, I pictured like a stock trading app crossed with Candy Crush.
I can see that, but it's more nuanced, of course.
Okay.
Think less about literal games and more about borrowing those elements that make them so addictive.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Right.
So break it down for me.
Okay.
What makes this approach so effective for building customer loyalty?
So think about what keeps you hooked on your favorite game.
Hmm.
The challenges, the rewards,
Yeah.
that feeling of making progress towards a goal.
Okay.
Gamification takes those principles and applies them to things we wouldn't normally associate with fun.
So instead of just like checking my balance on a boring old banking app,
Yeah.
it's like,
You're presented with challenges maybe personalized to your spending habits.
okay.
Let's say you use your debit card a certain number of times. Boom, you unlock a discount at your favorite coffee shop.
Okay, now you're speaking my language.
Right.
But how do companies personalize this at scale?
Right.
It's one thing to offer like a generic reward,
Yeah.
but another to tailor it to what I as an individual would actually find valuable.
That's where the really cool tech comes in.
Okay.
You know, we're talking AI and these things called rule engines,
Okay.
which sound very sci-fi,
They do.
but are actually quite fascinating.
Okay.
This isn't about random rewards. It's about understanding your behavior and nudging you towards specific actions.
Okay, hold on. Rule engines sound like something straight out of a Terminator movie.
It's true.
Give me the non-robot overlord version.
So it's all about using data to trigger specific outcomes.
Okay.
Let's say you've earned enough points in a banking app to unlock a ride-sharing discount,
Mm-hmm.
but you haven't claimed it yet.
Right.
The rule engine sees that and might send you a timely reminder just as you're about to order a ride.
Wow.
It's not about being creepy.
Right.
It's about being helpful at the exact moment you need it.
That actually sounds incredibly useful.
Yeah.
But I do have one burning question.
Okay.
Does this stuff actually work?
Yeah.
I mean, are there real-world examples of companies using gamification effectively?
Oh, absolutely.
I
In
know.
fact, you provided a stellar case study.
Okay.
This leading digital bank in Singapore.
Yes.
They partnered with a company called Perx Technologies
Okay.
to completely overhaul their customer engagement. And the results are pretty amazing.
Okay. Give me the highlights. What do they do differently?
First, they really understood their target audience.
Okay.
Their campaigns were designed to tap into aspirations like the desire for travel and unique experiences. For example, they ran a campaign offering a trip to Bali
Okay.
as a reward for referrals and transactions.
Okay. A free trip to Bali. I'd probably open a bank account just for the chance to win that.
Right.
But why Bali specifically?
Yeah.
Is it just a random exotic destination?
Not at all.
Okay.
They chose Bali because it aligns with their target audience's interests.
Okay.
It's not just about the reward itself, but also about how it's framed and the emotions it evokes. Winning a trip to Bali isn't just about escaping the daily grind.
Yeah.
It's about aspirational living,
I like it.
which their customers responded to.
So they tapped into the psychology of their customers.
Yeah.
Clever.
Mm.
What else did this bank do to make gamification work for them?
Well, they also understood the power of social proof. Okay.
They encouraged users to share their progress and achievements, creating buzz and a sense of community.
Okay.
It's like they turned their loyalty program into a social currency.
Interesting.
Hmm.
And we're talking about some serious results here.
Oh, yeah.
Like their customer acquisition cost plummeted.
33x reduction?
Wait, a 33x reduction? How is that even possible?
So initially, their customer acquisition cost was $52,
Okay.
which is already low for the industry.
Right.
But through gamified rewards and a data-driven approach, they got it down to a mere $9 per customer.
Wow. Okay, those are some seriously impressive numbers.
Yeah.
But beyond those eye-catching stats, what about keeping those customers engaged long-term?
That's where their strategic use of push notifications really shines.
Okay.
Driven by Per's rule engine, They managed to achieve a 72% customer return rate,
Wow.
meaning nearly 34 of their users are actively engaged.
Okay.
It's about striking that balance between being helpful and feeling intrusive.
Right.
And they nailed it. They cracked the code, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
But this can't just be about flashy rewards, right?
Yep.
There's got to be more to building genuine loyalty than just dangling a free trip to Bali.
You're absolutely right. This goes beyond superficial incentives.
Yeah.
It's about creating an emotional connection with the customer.
Okay, now we're getting into the really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this emotional connection
Sure.
and how this bank in particular managed to achieve it through gamification.
Well, one way they did this was by aligning their campaigns with their brand values
Okay.
and their customers' aspirations.
Okay.
They tapped into those deeper desires for personal growth, meaningful experiences, and social connection. And those are the kinds of things that foster true loyalty.
Right.
It's about more than just transactions. It's about building relationships.
So it's not just about giving people what they want.
Right.
It's also about tapping into those deeper needs and desires that they might not even be consciously aware of.
Precisely. And when you can achieve that, when you can create an experience that resonates on that level, that's when you create true brand advocates.
Okay.
People who don't just use your product or service, but who actively champion it and recommend it to others.
They become like walking billboards for your company.
It's like finding that perfect song that just speaks to your soul.
Yeah.
It's not just about the notes or the lyrics.
Yeah.
It's about how it makes you feel.
It's about the feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this case study really highlights that it's not just about the mechanics of gamification, the points, the badges, the rewards. It's about using those tools to create a more human, more engaging, and ultimately more meaningful experience.
This Singapore case study has been incredibly insightful.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder, is this something that can only be achieved by big banks with big budgets?
You know what's interesting? Well, while resources certainly help, the principles behind this success are surprisingly universal.
So you're saying that even a small business owner with a limited budget can leverage gamification
Totally.
to boost customer loyalty and drive growth?
Absolutely. It's about understanding the fundamentals we've discussed.
Okay.
Personalization, engagement, and creating that emotional connection.
Yeah.
And adapting them to your unique audience.
Music to my ears.
Right.
I'm already thinking about how I can apply these principles to my own life,
Yeah.
let alone my work.
I think that's what's so fascinating about this whole topic.
Yeah.
It's not just about banking or business.
Right.
It's about human behavior and what motivates us at our core.
Yeah.
And that's something we can all learn from and apply to various aspects of our lives.
Totally agree. Now, we've covered a lot of ground about the upsides of gamification.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to explore the potential downsides as well.
Of course.
After all, every coin has two sides. So we've been talking about how powerful gamification can be for building loyalty, but like you said, every coin has two sides.
Right.
What are some of the potential downsides we need to watch out for?
Well, one of the biggest ones revolves around data.
Okay.
You know, these hyper-personalized experiences, they need fuel.
Yeah.
And that fuel is information about us.
Which is always a bit of a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
We want that tailored experience, but then we're also handing over these digital breadcrumbs about our lives.
Exactly. And while companies like Perx, in our case study, seem to be very aware of security and ethical data use, it's still something to be mindful of.
Okay.
And it's not just about preventing data breaches,
Right.
though that's obviously crucial.
Of course.
There's a thin line between personalization and feeling manipulated.
Hmm.
Like those social media algorithms that keep us scrolling for hours.
Oh, yeah.
Are we making choices or are we being played?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we walk that line?
Right.
Because personalization, when it's done right, can be amazing.
If-
But no one wants to feel like a lab rat in their own banking app.
Right? Transparency is key.
Okay.
Companies need to be upfront about what data they're using and why.
Mm.
And it can't just be buried in some lengthy terms of service that no one reads.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
It's about making it clear and accessible to everyone because, let's face it,
Yeah.
most people aren't going to dig through pages of legal jargon
Right.
to figure out how their data is being used.
Yeah.
It's about being an active participant in our own digital lives,
Yes.
not just passive consumers.
I love that.
But let's go back to this Singapore bank case study for a moment.
Okay.
Did they address any of these potential pitfalls in their approach?
That's what I find really interesting about their strategy.
Okay.
They seem to understand that genuine engagement requires trust.
Okay.
For example, they gave users control over their communication preferences.
Okay. I like that.
So if someone wasn't a fan of push notifications, they could easily opt out or customize the frequency.
So it wasn't about bombarding people with messages just because they could.
Right.
It was about strategic communication that added value to the user experience.
Exactly, and that ties back to what we were discussing earlier about aligning gamification with brand values.
Yeah.
It's not just about ticking boxes.
Right.
It's about authenticity.
Which honestly is refreshing to hear.
Yeah.
There's been so much hype around gamification.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get caught up in the bells and whistles.
For sure.
But this case study seems to suggest that the real magic happens when you combine those mechanics with a genuine understanding of your audience and their needs.
Absolutely, and that's a really crucial point to remember. The most effective gamified experiences are not about tricking people into doing things they wouldn't otherwise do.
Right.
They're about tapping into people's intrinsic motivations, their desire for growth, achievement, connection, and using those as a springboard for engagement.
So it's less about manipulation and more about motivation.
Yeah.
But that brings up another potential downside.
Okay.
Unintended consequences.
Sure.
What happens when those motivations maybe aren't so healthy?
That's a critical consideration, especially in fields like healthcare or personal finance, where the stakes are higher.
Right.
For example, what if a gamified fitness app inadvertently encourages unhealthy competition or disordered eating habits?
Or in the case of banking, what if those enticing rewards and personalized nudges lead people down a path of overspending or debt?
Precisely. It's a double-edged sword.
Right.
And that's why ethical design is paramount.
Okay.
It's not enough to simply gamify a system.
Right.
We need to think critically about the potential impact on human behavior and design these systems in a way that promotes well-being, not just engagement.
So it's about finding that balance between encouraging positive behaviors without inadvertently pushing people towards unhealthy extremes.
Exactly. And that requires careful consideration, ongoing monitoring, and a willingness to adapt and adjust the system as needed.
It's like anything else. Just because we can do something doesn't necessarily mean we should. We need to proceed with both enthusiasm and a healthy dose of caution.
I completely agree. And, you know, one thing this Singapore case study doesn't explicitly dive into is how they measure the long-term impact of their gamification strategy.
Okay.
It's one thing to see those impressive engagement and retention rates.
Right.
But did it truly lead to increased financial well-being for their customers?
That's a really important question.
It is.
And honestly, it's one that I think more companies need to be asking themselves.
Absolutely, because ultimately the true measure of success shouldn't just be about profits or engagement metrics.
Right.
It should be about whether these gamified systems are actually making a positive impact on people's lives.
Well said so. To sum up, it seems like the key to navigating these potential downsides is a combination of transparency, ethical design, and a commitment to measuring not just the short-term gains, but also the long-term impact on individuals and society as a whole.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's about approaching gamification with a sense of responsibility, recognizing that it's not a magic bullet, but a tool that can be used for good or for ill.
Absolutely. And on that note, I'm really curious to dive deeper into some specific examples of how companies in other industries are using gamification effectively and ethically.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Okay, let's hear them.
Okay.
Give me the highlights.
For one area where I see huge potential and where it's already being used quite effectively is in the realm of travel and hospitality. Remember that company ICEATS that we mentioned earlier?
Oh, yeah. They were all about creating those hyper-personalized travel experiences.
Exactly. They're using gamification to enhance the entire travel journey, from planning and booking to the on-trip experience itself.
Okay, that sounds amazing in theory.
Yeah.
But give me the specifics. How does this actually work in the real world?
So imagine this, you're planning a trip to Italy. A classic choice, of course.
Who doesn't love a good pasta and gelato pilgrimage?
Right. So instead of just browsing through generic itineraries, iSeats might present you with a series of challenges or micro-quests.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay.
I'm all about making travel more engaging.
Okay, so you could earn points for watching a documentary about Italian art or history, for learning a few basic Italian phrases.
Hell, that's about the extent of my Italian, but I'm willing to learn more.
Exactly. Or you could even earn points for creating a custom playlist of Italian music to get you in the mood for your trip.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like those choose-your-own-adventure books we loved as kids.
I know.
But for grown-up travel,
right.
It's not just about getting from point A to point B. It's about immersing yourself in the culture and making the journey just as enjoyable as the destination itself.
Exactly. And as you complete these challenges, you unlock rewards.
Okay.
Maybe a discount on a local tour, a free gelato tasting, an upgrade to a room with a view.
You had me at gelato.
Right.
But on a serious note, this goes beyond just points and rewards.
It does.
It's about tapping into that sense of anticipation and excitement that surrounds travel and amplifying it through gamification.
Precisely. It's about making the entire experience more engaging, more personalized, and ultimately more memorable.
And let's be honest, in the age of social media, travel is about more than just the experience itself.
Oh, totally.
It's also about sharing those experiences.
Yes.
Those Instagrammable moments with the world.
You're spot on. And ICETs, along with other travel companies, have recognized this.
Okay.
They're incorporating social sharing elements into their gamified platforms.
Oh, interesting.
Allowing travelers to earn points for sharing photos, reviews, and recommendations with their networks.
So it's like a win-win.
It is.
Travelers get rewarded for sharing their experiences, and the companies get valuable user-generated content and word-of-mouth marketing.
Exactly. It's a clever way to leverage social proof and create a sense of community among travelers.
Right.
And this approach isn't just limited to travel.
Okay.
We're seeing similar gamified strategies being employed in other industries as well.
Like what? Give me another example.
Okay.
My curiosity's officially piqued.
Well, another area where gamification is gaining traction is in workplace wellness programs.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So instead of those dreaded mandatory health screenings and generic pamphlets about healthy eating, we're talking about a more engaging and personalized approach.
You got it. And this is an area where I think gamification has the potential to make a real difference in people's lives.
Okay.
Imagine a workplace wellness program that feels less like a chore and more like a game.
Okay. I'm listening.
You could earn points for tracking your steps, participating in fitness challenges, choosing healthy snacks from the vending machine.
So instead of reaching for that donut, I'm going for the trail mix.
Exactly.
I could get behind that.
And the rewards don't have to be extravagant.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a free massage, a paid day off to volunteer for a cause you care about.
Okay.
Or even just bragging rights within your team.
Right. It's about tapping in to those intrinsic motivators, that sense of accomplishment and camaraderie that comes with achieving goals.
Yes.
And being part of a supportive community.
Absolutely. And it can be incredibly effective.
Yeah.
We're wired for connection and competition.
Right.
And gamification taps into those primal instincts in a way that feels fun and engaging.
Right.
Rather than preachy or coercive.
This is fascinating. So we've got travel wellness. Where else are we seeing gamification making waves?
Another area, and this one is near and dear to my heart, is education.
Okay, I can see how this could be a game changer, literally.
Right.
No more boring lectures and tedious textbooks.
Precisely. Imagine a world where learning is as engaging and addictive as playing your favorite video game.
Sign me up.
Right.
But seriously, how are educators actually implementing gamification in the classroom?
It takes many forms.
Okay.
Think interactive quizzes, virtual simulations, personalized learning paths that adapt to your pace and learning style.
I like it.
It's about making education more interactive, more immersive, and more relevant to students' lives.
And with the rise of online learning and remote work, this seems like a no-brainer.
Absolutely. And it's not just about keeping students engaged.
Okay.
Gamification can also help educators track progress, identify areas where students might be struggling, and tailor their teaching methods accordingly.
So it's like having a personalized tutor for every student.
Right.
But instead of costing a small fortune, it's accessible to anyone with an internet connection.
Exactly. And it's not just about formal education either. We're seeing gamification being used to make learning new skills like coding or playing a musical instrument more fun and accessible to people of all ages.
This has given me so many ideas.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel like gamification has the potential to revolutionize pretty much every aspect of our lives.
I know, it's exciting.
It is, but before we get too carried away,
Sure.
I want to circle back to something we discussed earlier. The potential downsides and ethical considerations.
Right, because as exciting as all this is, it's crucial to proceed with caution and thoughtfulness.
Especially in sensitive areas like healthcare and education, where the stakes are high.
Right.
And we need to be mindful of unintended consequences.
Absolutely. We need to ensure that these gamified systems are designed ethically and equitably.
Okay.
That they're accessible to everyone.
Right.
And that they're used to empower, not exploit.
It's about using these tools responsibly and thoughtfully.
Yes.
Recognizing that they can be incredibly powerful forces for good. But also that they come with a responsibility to use them wisely.
I couldn't agree more, and I think that's a perfect segue into our next topic.
Okay.
How do we ensure that as gamification becomes increasingly ubiquitous, we're using it in a way that benefits everyone?
Now, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
But before we dive into that, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
When we come back, we'll explore the future of gamification and discuss how we can harness its power to create a more engaging, equitable, and ultimately more fulfilling world. All right, so we've explored a ton of exciting ways gamification is being used, but as we head into the future, the big question is how do we make sure it's a force for good?
Right.
Not just another marketing buzzword.
It's about moving beyond the hype and being really intentional about how we design and implement these systems.
So no more slapping a leaderboard on something and calling it a day.
Right. We have to ask ourselves, what are we actually trying to achieve?
Okay.
And how can gamification help us get there in a way that benefits everyone involved?
I like that it's about using gamification to enhance, not exploit.
Exactly.
But with all this talk about ethical design and unintended consequences, it's easy to feel overwhelmed.
Sure.
Where do we even start?
Well, one crucial aspect is transparency.
Okay.
Companies need to be upfront about how they're using gamification, what data they're collecting, and why. And it can't just be buried in some lengthy terms of service that no one reads.
It's about making it clear and accessible to everyone because, let's face it, most people aren't going to dig through pages of legal jargon to figure out how their data is being used.
Exactly. And on the user side, we have a responsibility too.
Okay.
We need to be informed consumers, asking questions, reading those privacy policies. Yes, I know they can be tedious.
Right.
And being mindful of the data we're sharing.
It's about taking ownership of our digital lives, not just passively clicking accept on every pop-up.
I love that.
But how do we balance that individual responsibility with the fact that, let's be honest, most companies aren't exactly known for their transparency or ethical track records?
That's where regulation comes in.
Okay.
You know, we need clear guidelines and standards for how gamification can be used, especially in sensitive areas like healthcare, education, and finance.
So something like a digital bill of rights for gamification.
Exactly.
I could get behind that.
We need to ensure these systems are designed with user well-being in mind, not just corporate profits.
Right.
And that includes protecting vulnerable populations who might be particularly susceptible to manipulation or exploitation.
It's about making sure gamification is a tool for empowerment, not a weapon for discrimination or exclusion.
Absolutely.
But regulations can only go so far, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, it comes down to the companies creating these systems and their willingness to prioritize ethics over short-term gains.
You're absolutely right. And that's why I'm so encouraged by companies like the one in that Singapore case study.
Yeah.
They're not just paying lip service to ethical gamification. They're baking it into their entire approach.
And they're seeing incredible results, which proves that you can do well by doing good.
Exactly. It's not an either-or situation.
Right.
In fact, I think we're reaching a tipping point where consumers are increasingly savvy and discerning. They can smell a marketing ploy a mile away, and they're looking for companies that align with their values.
So it's not just about avoiding negative consequences.
Right.
It's about actively using gamification as a force for positive change.
Precisely. Imagine a world where gamification is used to tackle climate change, promote social justice, or bridge the education gap.
Wow.
Those are the kinds of possibilities that get me really excited about the future.
Now you're speaking my language. That's the kind of future I want to be a part of building.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a collective effort.
It is.
It's not just on the shoulders of policymakers or tech companies.
Right.
We all have a role to play.
I completely agree. It's about demanding better from the companies we support, holding them accountable, and being mindful of our own digital footprints.
It's about approaching this new frontier with both a sense of wonder and a healthy dose of critical thinking.
And maybe a little bit of that playful competitive spirit that makes gamification so compelling in the first place.
Well said.
Oh,
It's about using this powerful tool to create a world that's not just more engaging and entertaining, but also more equitable and ultimately more fulfilling for everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, on that inspiring note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from the psychology of gamification to its transformative potential across various industries.
We did.
But most importantly, I think we've highlighted the importance of approaching this technology with a sense of responsibility, intentionality, and a commitment to creating a better future for all.
Absolutely. It's been a fascinating conversation, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning of a much larger conversation about the role of gamification in our lives.
I couldn't agree more. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it sparked your curiosity, challenged your assumptions, and maybe even inspired you to think differently about the world around you.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep playing the game of life with purpose and passion.